Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today we will be talking about which is the right Bansuri to begin with. So to find out which is the right Bansuri, I think I need to talk about the challenge many beginners face. That is, being able to play Pa on the Bansuri you're going to buy will be a deal breaker in determining whether you will continue learning Bansuri or stop it. So this is what I've observed. Here I have a C natural medium Poonam flute. So on this one, if you think about finger placement, you see that there is a gap here for Pa and your fingers have to stretch differently. So these two are side by side, but Pa is a little further away. And this gap is something our fingers are not used to. So initially it's going to take some time for you to get used to this placement. So whenever you're trying to close Pa, there is a chance that this finger is moving and opening the hole partially, which will be creating the hissing sound. So in the initial days with the C natural flute, I had a little bit of trouble in being able to close this. I think after 4 to 5 hours of practice, or let's say 1 week of practice, I was able to close Pa comfortably. So if I have to play this one. So with a little bit of practice, I was able to go from Ma to Pa a bit comfortably, I would say. So to show, but I wasn't interested in the sharp and sweet sound of the C medium, because if you see any guru who is playing, who has a channel on YouTube, or you're looking at other performers online, what you would see is something like a G bass or an E bass, a bigger flute, where the sound is really warm, mellow, and soothing. And I was more interested in playing this one, but this has its own challenge. So this one's 19 inches and this G bass is 26 inches. So you can see there is a difference in the whole placement. Now, to be able to play Pa, my fingers have to stretch further. Earlier they were like this. Now I would have to move it here or figure out a way to close all of them. It took me almost 2 weeks, or let's say like 12 to 14 hours of practice to be able to close Pa. So when we are talking about which is the right Bansuri, I feel like it comes down to what you're comfortable with. I was fortunate that I bought both these flutes at the same time. So in the initial days, I couldn't play the G bass. So I thought I'll just stick to playing the C natural medium and see how my fingers will move, how I'll feel. So after practicing on this one for a few days, I started focusing on G bass. So it was frustrating. If anybody out there feeling frustration, I can totally understand, because it is very frustrating You blow the same amount of air and you try to close pa. You don't need to go into the next octave while playing pa. I think as an initial step, you should just be able to close pa and produce some sound, like the lower octave sound. Once you get comfortable with being able to close the pa and make some sound, you can switch to higher octave. So let's say this is the lower octave pa, and you feel that the sound is good and the hole is properly closed. Try playing the higher note. It took me almost 14 days or 14 hours of practice to be comfortable to spread my fingers on the pa, mainly on the bigger one. I can only imagine how difficult an E-bass would be. So for anyone out there who is either trying to figure out which bansuri to buy or already bought a G-bass or something and feeling frustrated, I suggest stick with it. It is really like the gurus say on YouTube channels or the teachers say on YouTube channels, it is going to take time because our fingers are not used to this unusual spacing. So I feel like my consistent practice definitely paid off, and I love the sound of this flute. And maybe over time, after a few months of practice, I would love to get an E-bass because the sound of it is very soothing. I'm really hoping that my observations helped you in making a decision what to buy. For anyone who just want to get started and not worry about to start with C or G or A, I recommend going with C because the spacing is smaller and within a short amount of time there is a higher chance that your fingers will get used to the spacing. Whereas on a bigger one, it takes a very long time. So if you feel like you might give up your learning process because it might get difficult, I say start with C. The sound is sweet and the spacing of these holes is normal and your fingers can quickly adapt to it and you can enjoy playing. Maybe down the line after a few weeks or a few months of practice, you can look into getting a bigger one. Thank you everyone for watching. I'm truly hoping that this helped anyone out there who is looking to make a decision on which bansuri to buy. See you all in the next video.